Hello and welcome to another episode of Ashaya Day Trip Productions. Today is Saturday, March 16, 2024. Today I'm going to be taking a true excursion. Gonna go to Springdale, Arkansas, and gonna get on a train and take a little train ride from Springdale down to Winslow, Arkansas. It's gonna be a round trip. It's about 3 hours. Gonna have a little lunch and just gonna enjoy the sights and have a good afternoon. So let's roll.
With its highly crafted scenic home layout, it fits the 1960s Rock Island lines in Arkansas.
Ở đây có đất luôn nè, muốn đi cái này nè.
Alright, so I'm loaded on the train. We're just waiting here to leave the depot. Got my little travel guide here. I think this was like 14 bucks. I got this little engineer beer, I believe this one was $12. It's cute.
You know what that means?
St. Patrick's Day is coming up tomorrow on the 17th, so they got out their little table placement. I did a quick walkthrough through the museum in there. It's got quite a few interesting things from the presidents, including Bill Clinton. Right now, it looks like here they're doing a lot of construction. Out there, I don't know what I haven't been down to downtown Springdale in years. Just waiting to head on the excursion.
That's the exit door back yonder. There's an exit door up here at this end. The bathroom is immediately to the left, right up here by the door. It says lavatory. Let me warn you about the bathroom. Anybody's been in it, it's real little. If you have a problem in there, don't call on me. I'll find a CNA someplace. Because I'm not going to do it. Okay, there's no smoking, vaping, shooting guns, or anything else like here. Anyway, I'll be telling you some history as we go along here. Our engines are C420s. That's 2,000 horsepower, four-wheel drive. These things are 1965, 1968. That's the models of the engines. They're diesel, electric motors, driving the wheels. So, and they check everything before we go. These tracks are checked about 3 times a week. Make sure they're okay, because we don't want to have a problem. Some places they have problems. I don't know what they do, but we try not to have any problems. Those are some of our new engines we just purchased back yonder. They're not really new. They come from the Santa Fe or Frisco line years and years and years ago. They're repainting them. These are EDMs, electric drive motors, or diesel. Anyway, I'll be telling you the history of the cars, the tracks, why the tracks are so far apart, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes now farther down, we go by places where there used to be towns. The towns are no longer there. They've just disappeared totally. Don't know what happened, just how it is. People move on. There's places down here where you might see jonquils or gladiolas out in the field. If you do that, it's a pioneer used to live there about 1800. They've all died off. Sometimes you can see the foundations of the old houses where they used to live back about 1800. Because those are not native here, they're planted. So you'll see them in a row usually. And that doesn't happen in the wild. Stuff in a row. It's just scattered. Anyway, Tim, do you have anything else? We're going to get going here pretty soon. But everybody hang on to your teeth and your hair. We're going to go real fast. About 35 miles an hour. Maybe. We might get up to that close. In town, we're in a slow run area. We got to do that because of so much traffic. And we don't want to hurt anybody. We don't want anybody to do anything to us or anything. So, anyway, Lord bless everyone here. I thank you for being here today. I just hope you have a good time. Also, I'm a chaplain. I marry folks on I've married 31 couples on this railroad, so we call it a moving wedding. So anyway, usually it's because we're going down the tracks as we do the service. 29 times I've used this car, twice I've used the other car for weddings. So anyway, in case you need, I hook, but I do not unhook. That's not me. I just hook. As we start off, then we'll be going ahead and serving it, but we're not going to do that till we move. Here's our new caboose that we just got here recently, the old one. This car is 105 years old right now. It was used in Flux and Blues. It was also used by John Wayne Drew Grid. So we've had a lot of people, famous people associated with this railroad. On this other side, as we get down farther, there's old telegraph telephone lines from the 1920s. Gene Autry is our telegrapher. Back in the 1920s, always brilliant. Anyway, when he quit and started to become a cowboy, he had to go to school and how to ride a horse. He didn't know how. Roy Rogers took over. So we've got a lot of people, famous people on this line. Started out the physical line in 1880. Today it's one about 8 years old down the road. This creek we're getting ready to go over Springdale was named after Spring Creek. Springdale was called Shiloh, which meant peaceful and tranquil, so they had to change the name. It wasn't. So they changed it to Springdale after Spring Creek.
14 Good.
We're just getting started. We're just going through Springdale right now. It's like the first couple of minutes. Seeds for the trip. Potato chips. Got some famous. Then I got the deli sandwich, which I believe is ham and cheese. Got a little mustard packet, a little mayo packet. And I know, along with the deli sandwich being one of the meals, you can also get a salad, which would be another one of the meals, and I think there might be one more, but not too sure. It's rocking a little bit, it's not too bad.
We have a 46-year anniversary here, coming up shortly, right here, so bless them. Very good. Some people don't last for a week even. Very good. As you notice, as we're going along here, you don't hear a clickety-clack. And the reason is because we're on unirails. Only sometimes at junctions or something like that, they might have sections. These rails are welded together, solid rails. We might go for 10 miles with one solid rail and no breaks in them. And if there's a bad spot in them, all they do is cut out a bad spot, put in another piece welded in there, and that's it. Otherwise, they'd have to take out for a bad spot in a 60-foot rail. They have to take out the whole rail and replace it. It's a lot of waste, so they don't do it anymore. They just cut them out. Our normal speed as we're going through towns usually is about 18 to 25 miles an hour. We get on the straightaways way out in the mountains, away from people. About the highest they'll go is 45. That's what we're restricted to because there's so many switches back and forth. I mean, it's a very winding go through the mountains, so we can't go too fast. Besides that, if we drop off the side, sometimes it's 200 or 300 feet down. That's not a good idea. We don't roll real well. Also, they check the brakes before we go, and as we're going along here, The reason is because when we get down there, put the tunnel line down, we're dropping 1,300 feet. The river's down below there in Van Buren. We don't want to go through town at 60 miles an hour because we don't swim. So they make sure the brakes all work very well. We check them constantly. Tracks are checked constantly. Right here.
Fayetteville High School.
We just go by Fayetteville High School, just MLK Boulevard, we're going over right here in just a minute or so, right here coming up right now. This used to be the Muskogee Railroad. We're going to get ready to go over right here. This is where it was. Followed 62 all the way to Muskogee, Oklahoma. Started out in Fayetteville. This is it. Now it's part of the bike trail. The bike trail is about 55 miles long, and you can run on it, you can ride your bike on it, and I'll take the train. I'll go faster than you. Not that I'm lazy, it's that I don't want to do it. That's all. Come through here?
Yeah, I'm done.
University of Arkansas Stadium. This all here is probably all student council, pretty university.
Now it's like food all over. We took out the railroad track over. This is the west fork of the White River. Arkansas is number one in many, many different areas, and one of them is we have 5 rivers that flow north. No other state that I know of has 5 rivers that flow north. This is one of them, the West Fork and the White Fork. I live in the Kings River. I'm in the Bluff 400 foot above the river. It flows north. It all starts down here in the Boston Mountains and flows north. Okay, well, if you're going to go out the back, or you want to go out the back, you have to do it while we're going this way to the tunnel, because after that, the engines will be hooked up at this end, and will be the front car, and you cannot go out there because the engine will be right there. If you want to go out, better go out now. Right here. The only reason I know that's because the sign says so right here. We're going to go through this tunnel, and after 1 mile past the tunnel, we're going to come to the first trestle. The first trestle is 780 feet long. It's 125 feet down, and each car hangs 2 feet over the trestle on each side. So, because I'm the chaplain, one day we had a woman come up to me. I was getting ready to do a wedding, and she says, he runs a lot. She said, he's ran twice. He runs again. She said, I'm not going to marry him. Okay, usually there's a garage sale here. They have a flea market. They sell fleas. There's usually 2 people up here. It's not there today. Anyway, there's the jail. See the green one? Oh, this is where the movies were conducted. That right there is where John Wayne, as a law man, took his prisoners and put it in that building. This is where they did a lot of filming right here by the tunnel. True, Brent? Anyway, so we got to the tunnel, or we got to the trestle, and I called the engineer and I said, when we get the trestle, stop in the middle. And that door was locked. I was standing there. His back door was locked. He could not escape, so we had a wedding. He came a year later and said, that's the best thing you could have done. Didn't know it was going to be so good. So I'm upset about that. A lot of interesting things. I married a couple from England in the middle of the Arkansas River once on this train. We're getting ready now to enter into the tunnel. Just a moment. There's streams on both sides. They're kind of dry right now, not so much rain. In the summertime, in the spring especially, they're running really good. Up to the side, there's alcoves all along here. In case there's workers back here and the train's coming, they can get into the alcove off the track. Just a few hundred feet, we're going to come to a number 20 on the tracks right here. That number 20 is the absolute apex, the highest point of this railroad, 1755 in elevation. From that spot, it drops down going this way. As we're going downhill, going back this other way, one end of the train, like this end of the tree's going down, this end of the train is 2.5 feet taller or higher than the front end of the car. That's how fast we're going downhill. 2.6 degree down slope. We're going to cross the first trestle, then we stop. Railroad conductors come back all the way through the other end, get on back here, and we have to go back. You have to have somebody in the front with a radio to let them know what's going on. When we get up to Winslow, back into Winslow, then the train will stop, we'll disconnect from the engines. The engines will go on the sidetrack, go all the way around and come up and hook up to this other end. By law, we have to have an engine in the front. There's a nice little farm right here. There's a little place, well, there was no farm, but it sits on a precipice. Now the engine is on the trestle now. We're getting ready to go over it. About 4 weeks ago, as we came down here, there was a man up there in the corner. He had a big drone, and that drone just sat right behind us, followed us all the way across the trestle and back. And it went up in the air and took off. We're just entering onto it now. See that number right there, 376? There's a number right there in that sign. That 300, we just passed it, 376 miles to St. Louis by railroad from that spot. So there's all kinds of tags along here, and they all mean something special. Okay, you can look out, look straight down because we're hanging over on each side. The extra set of rails in the center of the trestle here has to do with stabilization. Now there's a difference between a trestle and a bridge. A trestle has only understructure, a bridge has superstructure. Here's the highest point right here where this little stream is. It's 125 feet down at that spot. See these little platforms out here? These little platforms on this side, there's 3 of them. These platforms, when the old steamers ran, would hold 55-gallon drums of water with stainless steel buckets in them. Because they would spit out fire sometimes, the old steamers, you notice when they spit fire. So anyhow, the buckets were to put out the fire. But the farmers, there were farmers in the area, and they found the stainless steel buckets. They stole the buckets because they made perfect milk for milking cows. Perfect, because he could set them down here and milk a cow. Well, then they came up and invented a cone bucket with a point at the bottom. Didn't stand up, so I didn't steal them anymore. be smooth from this day forth as you travel south, east, west, and north. The end. I wrote that as I traveled along, and we just had it was a lot of fun with a lot of people, and I just used the topography for different things in our lives. Valleys of frustration, tunnels of darkness, mountains of despair, all kinds of stuff. I wrote one for marriage too. I usually give one to the marriage couple. How I ended up, the last lines are, the little red caboose is the last car in line. Many little cabooses follow you in time. I like to do stuff like that. There's two cars at the end of railroads trying to purchase. These two cars right over here, they're historical things. They're trying to purchase them. See, there's new rails, or new ties. We've got, what you call it's on the end of them. That keeps them from split. This oak splits real bad. The old ones did, they split real bad, but when they get those new ties on the end of them like that, that kind of holds them together. They don't split so much. These are all going to be reconditioned and repainted. This one. This one here. This is the old Biloxi Blue. This is 105 years old, this car. All regular stuff in it, new or regular stuff that used to be there. This car is already done. It's the next one over that's going to be redone. This car's refurbished. The next one's going to be.
Alright, so I made it back to the train station, came right back to the museum. Just to kind of show a little bit what they have in here. Of course, they got trains, model trains. Kind of guns. Civil War era. Some old photos. Some spit tunes. Some records. They also have a gift shop and where you buy tickets. Model trains. Model trucks. Alright, so I made it back to Springdale for my little train excursion today. It was a nice ride. It was quite enjoyable. This one was from Springdale to Winslow. Round trip, about 3 hours. They also have another option, which is from Springdale to Van Buren, which is another 3 hours round trip. However, they have a 3-hour layover in Van Buren, so if you're interested in that. Yeah, it's quite enjoyable. It is the Arkansas and Missouri Railroad. Of course, any place I go to, you can always look it up online. So, yeah, wasn't too bumpy, I got out there for a little bit on the back end there. Took some video standing out in the very back there. I was kind of a little nervous with that one because it was moving a little bit, little rock and roll, if you will. But yeah, hats off to the conductors. Very knowledgeable, friendly, engaging, in conversation. It's a trip I highly recommend. Yeah, Also, I'd like to mention if you like this video, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. There will be more of these kind of trips to come. So that's going to do it all for me today. Until next time, bye.